Hello, brothers and sisters. This is just part 2 of my response to the Five Flames podcast because part 1 cut out. And like I was saying, some Manichaeans were Universalists, particularly in the East as Manichaeism develops. But most scholars believe Manichaeism in its original form as taught by Mani, and certainly we know that Manichaeism, as Augustine encountered it, believed that a portion of the light would remain forever mixed with darkness in the bolos, where darkness would be confined at the end of time, sort of eternal prison. Biblically, we would liken it to the pit prepared for the devil and his angels that Christ talks about in Matthew, but where, of course, the archons and the force of darkness confined, but with the light that was not able to be extracted from them, either through the efforts of the Manichaean Church in the present time, or through the great purgatorial fire that will engulf creation at the end of the time, as we read, in Peter's books in the Bible, that the world will burn up. And Manichaeism does teach that in accord with that. So like I was saying, the big difference then between Manichaeism and Augustinianism, and then also with Calvinism, which is a branch off of further development, is that that God in Manichaeism is not sovereign. He's not all-powerful. He's not in control. Not everything is by his decree. There is a providence. God is actively working in his creation, and not in creation. His creation, some of it's not, is from the evil principle. So he's actively working in creation, and any redemption that is affected, any salutary influence, is through him managing to reach people by his grace and giving their divine nature the awareness of itself and the strength and therefore the infallible desire to respond and to do good, because that is what the divinity does by nature. It does good. A good tree always producing good fruit. That's all I really wanted to say. I just was rudely cut out. Well, not rudely. I mean, just I was cut out at the end of my other video. So I want to wish you all well. I hope this video and the part 1 especially was informative. As for the Reformed and the Calvinists, I think my conclusion is that they are a distinct tradition. Obviously, it's a huge difference. Monism versus dualism. They're connected to the Abrahamic faith. We largely rejected the God of the Old Testament. It's huge differences. They're, in Manichaeism, we consider them Judaizers. But where they get their idea of sort of the need for a monergistic work in the soul to quicken human beings, and to where God needs to draw people to himself because they're dead, spiritually dead, because they're ruled by their flesh, that's all very Manichaean. Okay, and I think clearly Augustine, having spent 9 or 10 years as a Manichaean, his reading of the Pauline letters was colored and to some degree by his time with us. And there's definitely a similarity there. If you want to say, when I was Reformed, and I was aware of this, I just thought it was sort of providential, that it was already there, and I do believe that is what Paul's teaching, and Augustine just was uniquely in providence given the eyes to see it, whereas a lot of the other church fathers and stuff had more or less neglected some of the more keen Pauline insights into anthropology and the nature of the human will and its bondage to the flesh, to concupiscence, to sin. You can believe that. That's fine. But I think it's like most logical to think that Augustine's interpretation was influenced by Manichaean interpretations. And indeed, we see in his debate, with his debates with Faustus and Fortunatus, that they say similar things. So you can believe what you will. If it does convict you at all, especially if you're Reformed and listening to this video, I invite you, Catholics say swim the Tiber. I would say, and return home. I would say maybe swim the Tigris and Euphrates and return to Ctesiphon, Seleucia. We love you. We want you to be Manichaeans. And I love, the Reformed tradition. I was Reformed when I was Orthodox, and I certainly think that it has more reason to it than any of the traditions within Orthodox Christianity that espouse libertarian free choice. So God bless you, and Father of Greatness bless you, and all who are listening. Be well.